Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Director, sir, respected Coordinator, madam, and my esteemed colleagues. I am Dr. Jitendra Kumar Misra, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Lalit Narayan Tirhut College, B.R. Ambedkar, Bihar University, Muzaffarpur. Today, I am here with my presentation on perspectives on comparative literature. My topic of presentation is perspectives on modern comparative literature, a need to study across and beyond. So first of all, we need to know what actually comparative literature is. So when we begin, comparative literature is an academic field dealing with the study of literature and cultural expression across linguistic, national, geographic, and disciplinary boundaries. Comparative literature performs a role similar to that of the study of international relations, but works with languages and artistic traditions so as to understand cultures from the inside. When we study the literature of one region or one country, we understand its culture from within because the writer tries to bring out the inherent culture of that area, region, or nation in that culture, in that literature, and those culture we study and we understand from the literature. So while most frequently practiced with works of different languages, comparative literature may also be performed on works of the same language. Sometimes we do comparative literature of two different languages. Sometimes we may do comparison of the literature in the same language. We may study literature written by one writer in English, and at the same time we can take the literature written by another writer in same language English, and we can compare. And the same thing may happen in other languages too. We may take the study of the two writers of Hindi or two writers of Odia or Bengali or Kannada or Telugu. Any two languages can be taken, or the same language can be taken for the study. So the characteristic of the comparison is that we go through translational mode or we go through transcreational mode. Sometimes while studying the literature of two different authors belonging to two different region or nation and bringing out two different cultures or the emotions, behaviors of two different sorts of people of different or varying ethnicity, their ethnic behavior, their culture may differ from the culture of one part of the country, one part of the region to the other part of the region. As we know, the people across the world, they have their different sorts of religion, culture, society, their behavior, their mood, their interaction, their language. All these things, they come up to us through literature. Writers bring about the various things inherent in their society, in their culture, in their language, to us through their literature. We study them, and when we study the books of the other writers who bring about the literature in their literature, the language, the culture, the social nuances, the human emotions and behaviors of different sorts of people of that ethnicity, we start comparing, we start comparison. No language is complete in itself, no culture is complete in itself, no human behavior is complete in itself. We try to compare one thing, we try to understand one thing, we try to get good out of that thing, and we try to eradicate, we try to learn what things are not accepted in that culture or that society, or the behavior that are not accepted in that society or culture, and then we try to avoid that so that we could get benefit from that. So literature is not only for studying and enjoying, it is also for developing ourselves, developing our human behavior, developing our emotion, developing our uh, cultural and our social traditions. Now we see in our country, even in one part of the country, the festivals which were celebrated, now it is being celebrated in other part of the country as well. For example, we see the Chhat Puja, which is celebrated in the northern part of the country, in Bihar and UP. Now the same has come up and has spread, and people from other part of the country also they celebrate it. The other example can be Karwa Chauth Brat. That Karwa Chauth was not celebrated in other parts of the country, but it was celebrated in mostly in Punjab, in Chandigarh, Haryana, in such places. But now through transcreation, while watching movies, while watching serials, ladies of the country, they have known about the importance of such festivals, and they have started celebrating it. Raksha Bandhan, Deepavali, Holi, such sorts of things were celebrated all over, and have gone through their literature to other parts of the country as well. Now, earlier, as we did not have any such tradition of celebration of birthday. Now, birthday celebration, marriage anniversary celebration, death anniversary celebration, so anniversary celebrations, these all have come up to us through transcreation of the literature. While watching movies, while watching serials, we are impressed so much by such celebrations that we have brought them to our life. So, comparative literature is here, not only comparison of the literature through reading two books, but comparison of the literature through comparison of the entire society or culture or tradition or festival, or their behavior, human behavior in one part of the country, one part of the region, one part of the world, and they are moving across the boundary, moving beyond the boundary, and then impressing the people living across and beyond the boundary. And when the people of those places, when they start accepting those things, those behavior or culture or social aspects, and they start working with them, that that is the real comparison literature. That what is celebrated in one part of the country, one part of the world, when it reaches to the other part of the country, the other part of the world, that is the real moving of the idea of one place to the other. And there it comes through comparison of the literature, it comes through comparison of the society, comparison of the culture. Actually, in the beginning, why it is the need to compare literature. The In the beginning, the European literature were understood as both aesthetically autonomous and expressive of the national genius. The writers of English language, they were considered to be the uh, most expressive people who could express themselves, and could only express their national genius. They were only considered to be the best. Their writing was supreme. But now time has changed. Now people they are not only writing in English, they are writing in their own language. A Kannada man can write in Kannada language. A Tamil man can write in Tamil language. A Bihari can write in Hindi. Uh, an Assami man can write in Assamese. But the same thing does not remain under the four walls, under the boundaries of that region only. That passes across and beyond. That reaches to every nook and corner of the world. Not only through the means of printed media and books, but now internet is the best medium to bring out those books, those ideas from one place to the other. A Bengali drama can be translated into English and can reach to Africa. An African novel written in African or written in the local language can reach to India. A Chinese short story can be translated into English and may reach to England. So now this exchange of idea has been possible through comparison of literature. When we compare literature, we exchange ideas, we understand from one another, we learn from one another, and we try to imbibe the good and eradicate the bad. So the topic perspectives on modern comparative literature, a need to study across and beyond, is that the students of comparative literature, they learn from the transformations and travels of literary genres and texts across time and space. The students, they explore the connections of literature with history, philosophy, politics, and literary theory. When I use the term student of literature because whether one is a teacher, still he is a student of literature, still he is a student of the language. The whole life one is a student. So when we compare literature, we understand the things of that idea, things and idea of that region and society in totality, in entirety. The study of the intersections of literature. When we compare literature, we study their entire culture, and we may compare them through several means in the forms of film, when they come in the form of film, drama, visual art, music, or any new media. We compare these media, we compare these things, and we learn from them. So there are several perspectives of modern literature, and literature of one part reaches to the other part of the country. Literature of one region crosses the boundary and moves beyond its limit and makes access to all the people of the world. So comparative literature is the need of today. We study comparative literature, we learn from there, we get benefit from there, and our literature, when it has access to the other part of the world, people out there, they get benefit from that. So with this, I close my speech. Thank you very much. Thanks.